Hey guys, welcome back to Film Feature 43. Today I want to talk about a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I didn't really know how to put it together and talk about it in an interesting way. And that topic is who I believe the most important character of the entire MCU actually is. And it's kind of a background character that is talked about and even shown a lot, but not really given the credit that I think that he's due. The reason I haven't made a video about this yet is I didn't know what angle to come at this topic to make it interesting for you guys until I watched Nando V Movies video on One Villainous Scene, where he talks about Loki and Thanos, where the scene where Loki gets killed, and talks about kind of the greater impact of that scene in general. That video was made to kind of coincide with the release of the Suicide Squad, and he teamed up with different YouTubers to release similar videos about different movies, and I wanted to take that same angle with my video and kind of talk about the person who I think the most important character is. And if you've seen the title of the video that you clicked on, you know who that probably is, and that is Howard Stark. But I want to take it from the angle of One Villainous Scene, that being the scene where Howard and Maria Stark are assassinated by the Winter Soldier. So to show you why I think Howard is the most important character of the MCU, we have to take it back the whole way to Phase 1 and work our way up to the scene in question. So if we think about Phase 1 and we think about it chronologically, you really got to start with Captain America and the fact that he wouldn't be a superhero or really even exist in the zeitgeist of the MCU if it wasn't for Howard Stark's technological breakthroughs. He even gives Cap his iconic S.H.I.E.L.D. Similarly with the Hulk, if Captain America didn't exist and the super soldier serum didn't exist, Bruce Banner would never be trying to recreate it, ergo the Hulk wouldn't exist either. So in a roundabout way, Howard Stark helping with the creation of the super soldier serum really brought about the creation of the Hulk as well. That brings us to our last superhero here on Earth for Phase 1 up until the Avengers, and that is the character that Howard had the most influence on because he's literally his father, and that is Tony Stark. And the arcs that we see with Tony always link back to his father. So Tony was literally created by his father. So you have three creations right there at the beginning. You have Captain America, you have the Hulk, and you have Iron Man. But that's not the only creation of the first phase of the MCU that we see. He also created the organization S.H.I.E.L.D. With him helping create S.H.I.E.L.D. and being one of the founding members, that actually snowballs into Phase 2, where we pick up with S.H.I.E.L.D. becoming evil and becoming the kind of helper monetary cell for Hydra to advance them into a worldwide terrorist organization. Hydra. That brings us to Age of Ultron, where Howard's greatest creation, as he calls Tony in Iron Man 2, creates an artificial intelligence that literally almost wipes humanity off the face of the earth using a Eastern European city to drop out of the sky.
When the earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it.
So every movie so far that has taken place on Earth has had Howard's hand in one way or another. Even movies where his presence isn't really that prevalent except for hatred of him, like in Ant-Man, Hank Pym still got his start at Stark Industries, so Howard still has a hand at giving Hank his kind of push to perfect the Pym particles. So Howard still has an influence even when you see him in the beginning of the movie and then he's gone the rest of the time. That brings us to the scene in question. The Avengers that was posthumously put together by Howard through S.H.I.E.L.D. are on the verge of collapse, but there is a greater evil in the recreation of the super soldier serum that Tony and Steve put their differences aside, along with Bucky, to go and stop that greater evil. That's until Baron Zemo plays the recording of Bucky killing Tony's parents. We see in the scene play out a mind-controlled Bucky kill not only the founder of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the father of Marvel's biggest tentpole character, and not only the father and Howard of who we're talking about, but also Tony Stark's mother, Maria.
This isn't gonna change what happened. I don't care. He killed my mom.
It's like Tony is experiencing this situation over again, and the problem is now he knows it wasn't an accident. He doesn't think it was just a general car crash. He knows that they were assassinated, and not only were they assassinated, but they were assassinated by someone whom his teammate has been protecting this whole time. To drive that dagger in further, we find out, and Tony finds out, that Steve Rogers has known for years that the car crash was a cover-up for the killing of the Winter Soldier. He's known that since Captain America Winter Soldier, and we kind of knew that, but Tony didn't, and now the rift is too far apart for them to come together.
Did you know? I didn't know it was him. I just did you know.
This leads to one of the greatest hand-to-hand fights in the MCU, and also the breaking up of the Avengers. Driving home the point that Howard is the foundation of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the foundation of the Avengers, and kind of the glue that holds this whole thing together, either through Tony or through his advancements with S.H.I.E.L.D. or Stark Industries, that he's really the reason that the Avengers are together. Tony reminds Cap that
That shield doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
you often hear of the reluctant hero, but you rarely hear of the reluctant villain. And that's kind of what this scene is showing us in Bucky and Steve's relationship, with Bucky being the Winter Soldier for all those years, and Steve seeing him as a fallen hero, where Tony squarely sees him as the villain. And you can see this in this scene as well, where Tony asks Bucky,
Do you even remember them?
and Bucky replies,
I remember all of them.
to me, that doesn't put Bucky in the category of a anti-hero or a hero, even though he feels remorseful for the killings that he did while under the control of Hydra. That still lands him in the spot of a villain, but more so a reluctant villain than a flat-out regular villain. And I think that's what the MCU does so well. They take villains and they add layers to them. So you might be saying that,
So what that Howard has his hand in the first 2 seasons of this MCU roller coaster, and the first episode of season 3, we're going for 6 seasons in a movie. His influence isn't seen as much in the movies that have come subsequently after Captain America Civil War.
and to that I say, even though the Stark saga kind of takes a back seat in the next couple films with Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they're more intergalactic and mystic side of the MCU, so we can kind of put the Stark saga on the back burner. We see him come to the forefront again with Spider-Man Homecoming, where Tony is the mentor, and again, Tony's kind of an arm of Howard. That's kind of the whole point of Iron Man 2, and you come to the forefront of an Iron Man villain in Claw, where they were uneasy bedfellows terrorizing Wakanda. That theme comes back in Black Panther as well. Even though Howard's kind of through line is on the back seat for those films, it's pushed back to the forefront in Infinity War, when the Avengers aren't together because of Bucky killing Maria and Howard, and they lose to Thanos. Tony Stark says as much when he says,
I said we'd lose. You said, we'll do that together too. And guess what, Cap? We lost. And you weren't there.
he also calls Cap a liar and says that he has no trust in him. So the scene with Howard and Maria dying and us seeing that through Tony's eyes is an extremely impactful event, and my pick for a One Villainous moment that really shapes where the MCU went since, because Howard shaped where we came from in the MCU up until this point. It speaks volumes to this one scene that it's one of the saddest scenes in the movie, where we just saw a child grieve over the death of their father in the UN bombing scene with T'Challa and his father. It really kind of gives you a gut punch, because you know that Cap's trying to do the right thing by his friend and trying to do the right thing by his other friend.
He's my friend. So was I.
But it's just not working out, and you can feel that glue that Howard Stark had from being the person who gave Captain America his powers, all the way to being the father of Tony Stark and founding S.H.I.E.L.D., kind of pulling apart all from this one scene of Bucky, who ultimately is being controlled by Hydra. Killing Howard really takes that camaraderie that's between them in Tony knowing that and really just flushes it down the drain. And that camaraderie really doesn't truly come back until Tony has a family of his own and sees the mistakes that his father made and the mistakes that he made himself, and that kind of gives him the gumption to choose to go forward with the time travel plot even though he might lose everything. And I feel like they really wrapped it in there, the impact of this scene where Tony sees his parents dying with him meeting his father in Endgame. That gives this scene even more validity as one of the most villainous and yet impactful scenes of the entire MCU. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think is the most impactful scene of the MCU. Whether you think it's Thanos' snap, or the I Am Iron Man scene from the original Iron Man, or even the I Am Iron Man scene from Endgame. What do you think is the most impactful scene? This is going to be my video for this upcoming week. I'm not going to release anything on Tuesday, but check back with me the following Tuesday, and I'll have another video out for you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see, and as always, thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.